I have spent my life studying walls. Not merely walls of stone and concrete, but walls of fear, of doctrine, of habit, walls that divide people long before they divide land. I have traced their origins in memoranda and speeches, in economic tables and secret police files. I have lectured about their collapse with the comfort of hindsight, with clean timelines and confident verbs: fell, ended, gave way.
Tonight, that comfort abandons me.
I am standing in East Berlin, and the wall is still here. It is early evening. The air carries the metallic bite of approaching winter, mixed with exhaust, damp leaves, and the faint ozone smell of fluorescent lights. People cluster in small groups along Bornholmer Strasse, hands in pockets, shoulders hunched, not just against the cold, but against uncertainty. They speak in low voices, as if the wall itself might be listening. For decades, this concrete has done more than block passage. It has disciplined imagination. It has taught people what not to hope for. And yet, something has shifted. I know this because history, when it turns, does not announce itself with trumpets. It announces itself with confusion. The weight of before. To understand this moment, you must feel the weight of the hours and years that precede it. For 40 years, the German Democratic Republic has insisted on permanence. Its leaders speak the language of inevitability. Socialism, they say, is history's destination. The wall is not a failure, it is a protective barrier. Not a prison, but an anti-fascist rampart. The words are repeated until they sound like natural law. But history does not obey slogans. In recent months, the ground has been moving beneath this certainty. Hungary has opened its border with Austria. East Germans have fled by the thousands, abandoning Trabants and apartments, risking everything for an exit the party swore did not exist. Churches have filled with dissent. On Monday nights in Leipzig, chants of "Wir sind das Volk," "We are the people," echo through streets that once knew only obedience. The regime responds as it always has: half measures, threats, surveillance. And then, today, something extraordinary happens, not in the streets, but in a press room. The accident of history. At 6:53 p.m., Gunter Schabowski, a tired, ill-prepared party spokesman, shuffles papers before an international press corps. He is meant to announce new travel regulations, minor concessions carefully staged to be implemented later. A journalist asks when the new rules take effect. Schabowski hesitates. He looks down. He scans his notes. "As far as I know," he says, "effective immediately, without delay." This is not a speech. It is not a declaration. It is not even a decision. It is a mistake. But history is often redirected by mistakes, provided enough people believe them. Within minutes, the words travel faster than any Politburo directive ever has. Radios crackle. Television anchors interrupt programming. Phones ring in apartments across East Berlin. The border is open. Is it true? No one knows, including the men who guard it. The crowd gathers. That is why we are here now, thousands of us, facing armed border guards who have received no clear orders. They are young men, most of them, some barely old enough to remember a Germany without division. Their rifles hang heavy at their sides, but their expressions betray something else entirely: fear. Not fear of the crowd, fear of choice. For decades, their duty has been simple: prevent crossing. The rules were brutal, but they were clear. Tonight, clarity has vanished. The crowd grows. Someone shouts, "Open the gate!" Others join in, not angry, insistent, determined, as if repetition itself might make the future arrive faster. I listened to the rumors passing through the people like electric current.
They're letting people through at another checkpoint. No, that's a lie. My cousin heard it on West TV.
They can't stop us all.
They can shoot.
They won't. Notice how each sentence carries not information, but risk. From the vantage point of my profession, I want to shout something to the crowd, to the guards, to history itself. This is not inevitable.
Empires do not collapse because they are meant to. They collapse because, at some point, enough people stop believing the story that sustains them, and those in power hesitate just long enough for that disbelief to spread.
The East German state still possesses weapons. It still has prisons. It still has allies, at least on paper. If a single order were given, clearly and forcefully, this crowd could be dispersed, blood could be spilled. The wall could stand for another decade.
We know this because it has happened before. In 1953, in 1968, in Tiananmen Square, earlier this very year.
History offers no guarantees, only precedents.
It is now after 9 p.m. The guards confer among themselves. One officer makes a phone call, then another. Their superiors do not answer, or do not dare to decide. The system that once prided itself on control is paralyzed by its own hierarchy. I watch a man near me lift his child onto his shoulders so she can see over the crowd. The child laughs. She does not understand the risk embedded in this moment. That innocence terrifies me more than the guns. Because once a child laughs at a border, the border's days are numbered. Still, nothing happens. The gate remains closed.
This is the longest moment of my life.
The decision that wasn't supposed to exist. Then, shortly before 11 p.m., a commander at Bornholmer Strasse makes a decision that will echo across centuries. He orders the gate opened. Not because he has been instructed to, not because the law has changed, but because he fears what will happen if he does not.
People surged forward, cautiously at first, papers in hand, expecting inspection. The guards waved them through. No stamps, no arrests. The first East Berliners step into West Berlin legally for the first time in their lives.
Some cry, some laugh, some stand frozen as if the ground itself might give way.
The wall has not fallen,
but it has been crossed. And that, historically, is enough. The shattering of the script. What follows defies every model of controlled transition I have ever studied. People climb onto the wall, strangers embrace. Champagne appears as if summoned by collective will. West Berliners arrive with flowers and disbelief etched into their faces. The border guards, symbols of division, become spectators to their own obsolescence. I note this carefully because later generations will compress this night into a simple image, the wall falling, freedom triumphant. They will miss the truth. The truth is that no one was certain of victory. No one knew the Soviet Union would refrain from intervention. No one knew that this night would remain bloodless. History balanced on a knife edge of miscommunication, restraint, and exhausted men choosing not to fire. Standing here amid celebration, I cannot help but think forward as much as back. This moment will accelerate the collapse of the Eastern Bloc. It will hasten German reunification, bringing prosperity for some, dislocation for others. It will reshape NATO, the European Union, and the global balance of power. But it will also plant seeds of resentment, nostalgia, and inequality. The story will not be clean. Victory never is. Walls will not disappear from the world. They will simply be built elsewhere by other hands with other justifications. And one day, scholars will argue about this night, about whether it was a revolution, an accident, or an inevitability.
I am here to tell them it was none of those alone.
It was human.
Against inevitability. As a historian, I am trained to explain outcomes, but tonight resists explanation. What I see is not destiny unfolding, but fear failing, not ideology defeated by argument, but by hesitation, not a master plan, but a vacuum where authority used to be. If one order had been given,
If one trigger had been pulled,
if one official had spoken more carefully, the wall might still be standing. History does not move forward because it must. It moves forward because sometimes people do not do what they were supposed to do.
that is the fragility of this moment and its power.
I stand here, watching people cross a line that was once lethal to approach, and I remind myself of the most dangerous myth of all. That history happens to us. Tonight, in Berlin, history hesitated. And because it did, the world changed.